Jaya Radha Madhavan Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Chandra Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Chandra Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Bhalava Girivardhari Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading today from the Srimad-bhagavatam, 8th Canto, chapter 24, verses 54 through 61. This will end the 8th Canto.
Сегодня, да, 8 глава, 54 по 61 и заканчиваем 8 песню.
Shri Shuka Uvacha Ityukta Vantan Ripating Bhagavan Adi Purushaha Matsya Rupi Mahambodo Viharang Statvam Abravit Sri Shuka Uvacha Ityukta Vantang Riptat Pating Bhagavan Adi Purushaha Matsya Rupi Maham Bodho Viharang Statvam Abravit Sri Shuka Uvacha Ityukta Vantang Riptapating Bhagavan Adi Purushaha Matsya Rupi Maham Bodho Viharang Statva Abravit Sri Shuka Uvacha Bhagavan Adi Purushaha Matsya Rupi Maham Bodho Viharang Statvam Abravit Sri Shuka Uvacha Iti Nuplantanang Bhagavan Adi Purushaha Matsya Rupi Maham Bodho Viharang Statvam Abravit. Word for word synonyms. Sri Shuka Uvacha. Sri Shukadev Goswami said, Iti thus Uktavantam, being addressed by Maharaj Satyavrata, Ripatim, unto the king, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Adi Purushaha, the original person, Matsya Rupi, who had assumed the form of a fish, Maha Ambodo, in that water of inundation, Viharan, while moving, Tattvam Abravit, explain the absolute truth. Translation. Shukadev Goswami continued, when Satyavrata had thus prayed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who had assumed the form of a fish, the Lord, while moving in the water of inundation, explained to him the absolute truth.
Перевод. И Павел Раслана продолжал. После того, как Сатьяврата вознес молитву Верховному Господу, принявшему облик рыбы, Господь, плавая в водах потопа, открыл ему абсолютную истину.
Now there's no purport, so I'll read the next verse. Shukadev Goswami continued, when Satyavrata had thus prayed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who had assumed the form of a fish, the Lord, while moved... that was the one we just read. Next translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead thus explained to King Satyavrata the spiritual science known as Sankhya Yoga, the science by which one distinguishes between matter and spirit. In other words, Bhakti Yoga, along with the instructions contained in the Puranas, the old histories, and the Samhitas. The Lord explained himself in all these literatures.
Верховный Господь объяснил свою Сатьяврате духовную науку, именуемую Санкхья-йогой, йогой или Бхакти-йогой, которая позволяет научиться отличать материю от духа. Кроме того, он поведал о наставлениях, содержащихся в Пуранах, перечисленных хрониках и Самхитах. Все эти священные писания объясняют природу Господа.
Next verse. While sitting in the boat, King Satyavrata, accompanied by the great saintly persons, listened to the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in regard to self-realization. These instructions were all forms of the eternal Vedic literature, Brahma. Thus the king and sages had no doubt about the absolute truth.
Плывя на корабле, царь Сатьяврата вместе с великими мудрецами внимал наставления духовной личности Бога в природе духа. Все наставления были взяты из личных ведических писаний. Так царь и мудрецы избавились от сомнений и достигли абсолютной истины.
At the end of the inundation, during the period of Swayambhuva Manu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead killed the demon named Hayagriva and delivered all the Vedic literatures to Lord Brahma when Lord Brahma awakened from sleeping.
В конце предыдущего потопа, затопать Сваямбхува Ману, Верховный Господь убил демона Хайагриву и вернул все ведические писания Господу Браму, когда Бог пробудился ото сна.
King Satyavrata was illuminated with all Vedic knowledge by the mercy of Lord Vishnu, and in this period he has now taken birth as Vivaswata Manu, and the son of the sun god.
По милости Господа Вишну царь Сатьяврата обрел просветление. Все знание век открылось ему, поэтому в нынешнюю эпоху он родился Вивасвата Ману, сыном Бога Солнца.
There's a short purport here.
Короткий комментарий теперь.
Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives his verdict that Satyavrata appeared in the Chakshusha Manvantar. When the Chakshusha Manvantar ended, the period of Vivaswata Manu began. By the grace of Lord Vishnu, Satyavrata received instructions from the second fish incarnation and was thus enlightened in all spiritual knowledge.
Срила Вишваната Чакраварти Тхакур заключает, что Сатьяврата был в Чакшуша Манвантара. После этого Манвантара началась эпоха Вивасваты Ману. По милости Господа Вишну Сатьяврата получил насловение от Матсya, когда Господь погрузился в облике рыбы во второй раз. Так он обрел совершенное духовное знание.
Okay, and as we read a couple more verses where the last one has a purport. This story concerning the great king Satyavrata and the fish incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, is a great transcendental narration. Anyone who hears it is delivered from the reactions of sinful life.
Это история о великом царе Сатьяврате и о воплощении духовной личности Бога, Вишну, в образе рыбы является великим духовным повествованием. Любой, кто слушает его, избавляется от всех последствий своих грехов.
That means we are hearing it, so we are becoming free from the reactions of sinful life.
Да, вот, мы получили освобождение от последствий греховной жизни.
Okay, verse 60. One who narrates the description of the Matsya Incarnation and King Satyavrata will certainly have all his ambitions fulfilled, and he will undoubtedly return home back to Godhead.
А тот, кто рассказывает о Матсе Аватаре и царе Сатьяврате, исполнит все свои желания и непременно вернется домой к Богу.
That's good, huh? All your ambitions will be filled. Just keep narrating this story.
Все наши амбиции выполнены,
Verse 61, the last verse of the chapter. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who pretended to be a gigantic fish, who restored the Vedic literature to Lord Brahma when Lord Brahma awakened from sleep, and who explained the essence of Vedic literature to King Satyavrata and the great saintly persons.
Я глубоко за последний стих 61, этой главы и конец текста. Я в глубоком почтении склоняюсь перед Верховным Господом, который, обернувшись гигантской рыбой, вернул Господу данные ведические писания, когда тот проснулся и объяснил смысл ведического знания царей Сатьяврате и великим мудрецам.
Srila Prabhupada's purport. Here is a summary of Satyavrata's meeting with the fish incarnation of Lord Vishnu.
Здесь коротко рассказано о встрече Сатьявраты с воплощением Господа Вишну в образе рыбы.
Lord Vishnu's purpose was to take back all the Vedic literatures from the demon Hayagriva and restore them to Lord Brahma.
Главная цель Господа Вишну состояла в том, чтобы отобрать все ведические писания от демона Хайагривы и вернуть их Господу Брахме.
Incidentally, by his causeless mercy, the Lord spoke with Satyavrata.
Но вместе с тем Господь посреди беспричинной милости дал наставление царю Сатьяврате.
The word Satyavratanam is significant because it indicates that those on the level of Satyavrata can take knowledge from the Vedas delivered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
В слове Сатьявратанам заключен важный смысл. Оно указывает на то, что люди, находящиеся на уровне Махараджа Сатьявраты, могут получить знания из вед, которые изошли из уст Верховной Личности Бога.
Whatever is spoken by the Supreme Lord is accepted as Veda.
Все, что изрекает Верховный Господь, считается Ведой.
As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Vedanta Krit Veda Vid, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the compiler of all Vedic knowledge, and he knows the purport of the Vedas.
Как сказано в Бхагавад-гите, Веданта Крит Вид, Верховный Господь состоит при всех ведических писаниях, и ему известен их смысл.
Therefore, anyone who takes knowledge from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, or from Bhagavad Gita as it is, knows the purpose of the Vedas. Vedais sarvara aham eva vedyaha.
Верховный поэтому любой, кто получает знания самого Кришны, Верховной Личности Бога, или из Бхагавад-гиты, как она есть, знает, конечно, цель вет. Ведais sarvara aham eva vedyaha.
One cannot understand the Vedic knowledge from the Veda-vada ratas, who read the Vedas and misconstrue their subject matter.
Ведическое знание невозможно обрести, слушая тех, кого называют Веда-вада рата, Те люди искажаются на сегодня.
One has to know the Vedas from the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Чтобы обрести ведическое знание, следует обращаться к Верховной Личности Бога.
Thus then the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 8th Canto, 24th chapter of the Srimad-bhagavatam entitled Matsya, the Lord's Fish Incarnation.
Так заканчивается комментарий Бхактивиданты в 26 главе 8 Сримад-бхагаватам, что называется Матся, Господь Бог.
Om Jnana Shakina Chana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. So this was a very wonderful description of the Lord's fish incarnation.
Так это было чудесное описание воплощения Господа в этом свете.
And we're reading. This is also, I don't remember this from before, but the fish incarnation, while he's swimming around in the ocean of devastation, the ocean that actually fills up the universe, he's swimming through there and pulling the boat, and he's speaking to King Satyavrata and the saintly persons that he would be pulled on this very big boat.
Так, то есть Господь в облике рыбы, он плавал по вот этим вот водам потопа, которые затопили всю Вселенную. И в процессе того, когда он плавал, он еще и рассказывал про Сатьяврате и другим мудрецам духовное знание.
And this, and the knowledge specifically was mentioned was is known as Sankhya philosophy.
Знание, которое здесь описано, упоминается, оно называется философия Санkhya.
So Sankhya philosophy basically means it's an analytical study of everything, ultimately to show that there's a difference between material, matter, and spirit.
И Санkhya означает, по сути, это описание, это знание, которое описывает все, что нас окружает в духовном материале.
The same basic Sankhya philosophy had also been taught another time by another incarnation, Lord Kapila Dev.
И то же самое знание Санkhи было поведано раньше в воплощении Господа Kapila Deva.
And in that Sankhya philosophy, Kapila Dev had broken down, explained all the elements.
И эта философия Санkhи, которая была поведана Kapila, она описывает все
There were 24 material elements, and then there were 2 spiritual elements.
Это 24 материальных элемента и 2 духовных.
And so, and the whole point of Sankhya philosophy is that you understand clearly this is material and this is spiritual.
И понимание философии Санkhи, оно приводит к тому, что приводит к пониманию вот этого является материальным, а вот это является духовным.
And everything that is material is temporary, full of ignorance, and actually causes us misery.
И то, что материально, оно является временным и полным невежества и полным страданием.
And then, separate from all the material elements, then there's spiritual. The spiritual means the spirit soul and the super soul. The soul, the jiva soul, and the super soul. So Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that this distinction between matter and spirit, here he says, bhakti yoga. And the conclusion of Sankhya philosophy is actually bhakti yoga. Because if we understand that we are not these material elements, we are spiritual beings, and God is the supreme spirit, and everything, all these material elements belong to God. Now, the conclusion is, I must use these things in the service of God. Bhakti yoga. And then Srila Prabhupada explains here also that the personalities, like King Satyavrata, means devotees of the Lord, can hear this Vedic knowledge from the Supreme Lord, or the Supreme Lord's representative. They're willing and able to hear like that. And hearing it from the Supreme Lord, or hearing it from the Supreme Lord's representatives, the Guru, only in that way can we understand this knowledge. So Srila Prabhupada points out here that he says, one cannot understand Vedic knowledge from the Veda Vada Ratas. So Bhagavad Gita describes that there are different kinds of people who do not surrender to Krishna. And one of those kind of non-devotees is referred to as the Veda Vada Rata. So Veda Vada Rata means someone who takes perfect Vedic knowledge and then they speculate and guess and decide, okay, well, I've decided that the real meaning of this is this. Okay. For example, someone reads the Sanskrit from Bhagavad Gita. They know Sanskrit, they read. So Bhagavad Gita is actually very clear and straightforward. But if someone takes Bhagavad Gita and they read it and try to speculate, oh, I think it means like this, I think it means like that, that's called Veda Vada Rata. That kind of person is Veda Vada Rata. So some people might take like in the Bhagavad Gita, the five Pandavas are mentioned. So for some, they say, the five Pandavas refer to our five senses, seeing, hearing, like that. They speculate like that. The five Pandavas, Arjuna, Yudhishthira, and so on. They are actually great specific devotees, personalities mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, but some people might say, Arjuna, Yudhishthira, Bhima, they're mentioned here. That actually is just an analogy referring to our five senses: seeing, hearing, tasting.
They compare
five Pandavas to the five senses.
Is it speculation?
Huh?
Is it speculation?
Speculation. Yeah, it's Veda Vadaratas. That's what they do. They see something and they guess. They don't know the actual truth. They make something up, write themselves write there. This is my commentary, my version of it. So that's Veda Vadaratas like that.
То есть они вот эти Ведаватарат, они берут и, допустим, Бхагавад-гиту и перекладывают это на свой момент, дают свои комментарии и спекулируют таким образом, говоря, что вот типа 5 пандавов, они сравнивают их чувствами и так и начинают вот этого спекулировать.
So Srila Prabhupada explains that if we want to understand Vedic knowledge, we have to hear it from the right source, not from the Veda Vadaratas.
Srila Prabhupada объясняет, что если мы хотим понять ведическое знание, то нам необходимо слушать из истинного источника, а не вот этих Ведаватарат.
When Srila Prabhupada first was writing, or maybe at first had written, his Bhagavad Gita as it is, one lady, Srila Prabhupada describes that one lady asked him, there are so many translations and commentaries on Bhagavad Gita, in English even, why have you written another one?
И Шрила Прабхупада рассказывает, что одна женщина спросила, говорит, что так много существует различных комментариев Бхагавад-гиты, в том числе на английском, очень много, и зачем как бы еще один комментарий сделать?
And Srila Prabhupada commented that there are many translations, but practically hardly one of them can actually describes, if it gives Krishna's actual, the real meaning of Bhagavad Gita. So they're just speculations.
Еще Прабхупада комментирует ее вопросы, говорит, что да, существует множество комментариев Бхагавад-гиты, но это все спекуляции, ни один из них из комментариев не раскрывает истинный смысл Бхагавад-гиты.
So Srila Prabhupada wrote he called his Bhagavad Gita as it is.
И Шрила Прабхупада вот он объясняет это, и поэтому он написал, что Бхагавад-гита как она есть.
And Srila Prabhupada pointed out that hardly anyone, at least from reading all these different versions of Bhagavad Gita, hardly anyone decided to become, I want to become a devotee of Krishna.
Шрила Прабхупада указывал, что, как говорит, существует много переводов Бхагавад-гиты, но вряд ли хотя бы один человек после прочтения любого из этих переводов стал преданным Кришне.
And yet from the Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is, so many have taken up the path of Krishna consciousness.
Однако после книги Бхагавад-гиты, как она есть, очень много людей стало пришло в сознание Кришны.
So that's the point here. So King Satyavrata was hearing. In his case, he was hearing directly from the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
И вот здесь вот как раз в этот момент, что царь Сатьяврата, он как раз и слушал сознание самого
Also, although it's not completely described here, but the principles here in the Veda, in the Srimad-bhagavatam, here the Matsya avatar is giving this Vedic knowledge to King Satyavrata and to all the saintly persons that are with him who were saved on this boat. Okay. Remember King Satyavrata, the fish, when he became very big, he said when King Satyavrata understood, oh, now I understand, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he becomes very large. So the Matsya avatar said, yes, and I'm letting you know that in 1 week there will be a great devastation, great flood, and when that happens, a boat will come, and you should get on the boat with the saintly persons and some other human beings and animals and everything. You should do that, and then I will come as the fish, and I will guide this boat through these oceans and rivers of devastation during that period. So he tells King Satyavrata about that.
Царь Сатьяврата, он, когда Господь он очень быстро принял размер огромной исполинской рыбы, то царь Сатьяврата тогда понял, что это сам Верховный Господь. И он ему сказал, Господь, что будет потоп, и возьмет эту большую лодку, туда возьмем мудрецов, там, других существ, и я буду вести эту лодку, поскольку будет большой потоп, и все будет затоплено, то я выведу эту лодку с точкой назначения.
So the Vedas, in one sense, were being lost here, but the saintly persons, including King Satyavrata, were hearing the Vedas again. And at least in the beginning, the Vedas were not actually written; they were spoken, heard and spoken. And we talk, at least in some places where we talk about the Vedas, we're talking about the personalities who have become expert in following and who are knowledgeable of the Vedas and who are following those Vedas. No. Okay. Just like in 10th Canto Srimad-bhagavatam, Krishna book. There's a chapter called the Prayers of the Personified Vedas. So usually books are not praying. So many nice prayers, but a book doesn't pray. So personified Vedas means the great saintly persons who are knowledgeable of the Vedas, who are living according to that knowledge in the Vedas. And here here's all these great saintly persons who are again hearing this knowledge from the Supreme Lord, and they are being saved also, and they're being saved. It says that the Vedas are being saved by this fish incarnation. So they're saving the personalities who have heard that knowledge of the Vedas.
Здесь вот как раз идет о том, что веды не были пересказаны, снова сказаны Верховной Личности Бога и услышаны мудрецами, которые находились в этом.
Of course, now we have the Vedas in its written form because we don't have the brain to remember these things.
И сейчас у нас веды есть в записанной форме, поскольку у нас наш мозг не позволяет помнить.
That's why the beginning of Kali Yuga, or end of ending of Dwapara Yuga, right in that time. That's why Srila Vyasadeva arranged to organize the Vedas and write down the Vedas. I think we went a little over because we started really late, but maybe we need to stop here. Are there any questions?
During Srimad-bhagavatam, we make Shravana.
Yes.
And if we are personally read Srimad-bhagavatam, what the service?
I'm not understanding the question. We hear Srimad-bhagavatam.
When we hear Srimad-bhagavatam, we make Shravana.
Shravanam, yes.
But when we are reading Srimad-bhagavatam,
it's the same. It's the same. Hearing, reading is the same thing.
What is the difference between hearing and reading?
Nothing. Not really. It's the same if we hear this knowledge or we read the knowledge. If we're reading it, then in our mind we're also seeing the words we're hearing, or we hear it, then the brain transforms it in some way so we can make sense out of it. And if we read it, the brain does the same thing. It's hearing and reading is the same thing. The same way that if we preach to someone, speaking, or we write something down, like a book or a Back to Godhead article or something like that. That's Shravanam Kirtanam. And Smaranam, whether we hear it, we remember, we hear it, we speak it, we maybe even do some service for Krishna, but one way or another, from all those, then we're remembering Krishna. Smaranam. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah, okay, we're a little over time today, so we'll end. Tomorrow then we'll go on with, continue with Srimad-bhagavatam, the next chapter, next canto.